The Clinch, chatting all things MMA.
Hi and welcome to The Clinch here on eNCA.com, where we talk about all things MMA in South Africa and sometimes the rest of the planet. We've had a change of surroundings. We've got out of the studio and come here to the beautiful Pilanesburg, to Sun City, the venue for next month's iconic EFC 54 landmark event, where 3 title fights will be up for grabs. In an exclusive 4-part Vodcast series on eNCA.com, we'll be talking to all 6 fighters vying for those 3 titles. Johannesburg's Shana Power looks to beat Durban's Amanda Lino for the first women's title in the history of the sport on this continent. Power's teammate from 5 Foot Militia, JP Bass, will look to beat Baldwin Umdalusi from Durban for the interim flyweight title, and the veteran Andrew Van Zyl. And the main card will try and knock out the Bulawayo bomber Elvis Moyo from Zimbabwe. We're going to speak to all 6 fighters right here, right now. It's going to be a cracker. Welcome to The Clinch.
The Clinch, chatting all things MMA.
The wait is over.
The Clinch, chatting all things MMA.
So here with Shana Power fighting Amanda Lino for the first inaugural women's title in EFC history. Shana, how are you feeling going to the fight? Surely it's got to be the biggest one in your career to date.
It is the biggest fight, especially knowing that the title's on the line. I'm undefeated in my career, so it makes the pressure's always on. And also to be fighting for something that I've dreamt about for a very, very long time makes it even more overwhelming. I still can't believe that I'm here today and that this is actually happening. So I'm feeling good. I'm just obviously very much in my training and my processing through my fight. I think only after the fight will I be able to actually reflect on what's happened and actually realize what I'm doing, because I'm very focused on the evening at the moment.
So with that in mind then, has your preparation coming up to this fight been different to any of the other ones?
I wouldn't say it's different. Rich is obviously always fixing certain things and always trying to evolve and get better. MMA is a very, very unassuming sport in a sense. Like you never know what's going to happen. You have 100 plans and 1,000 ways that you want to execute a plan in the evening. Sometimes it goes away, sometimes it doesn't. So I've learned not to be so fixated on how the evening's going to go, but obviously just more visualize the victory and being the winner on the evening. That's all that matters. Training is the same. Like I said, obviously it's just 2 rounds extra to go the distance, which I don't see happening. But just bettering myself, bettering my skill set, evolving, making sure I'm fitter, stronger, and that's all that I'm really focusing on.
Since we first saw you fight against Kirsty Davis last year, how have you evolved as a mixed martial artist?
I think I've evolved obviously from a skill set point of view. I've added more tools to my arsenal, but I think I've also matured as an athlete. Learning to ride with the punches in a sense, and just take each day as it comes and have more faith and trust in the process and trying to control each day. Just understand that some days you're going to be tired, some days it's not going to be your day, and just make sure that the preparation, and if you're constantly training, constantly on the mat, and believing in yourself and your team, that things will go the way that they need to go. So I think it's just the maturity sense that I've learned to let go and just believe.
Your opponent in this fight, Amanda Lino, she's quite a rusher. She likes to come out and rush her opponent and put the pressure on straight away. What do you make of her as a fighter?
She does like to rush. It's a type of fighter. That's what worked for her in her previous fights. But I also feel like she hasn't really been tested in a sense of opponents that have changed the fight around in a sense. When she was tested, she lost. And I believe I'm a very technical fighter as well. So, obviously I'm just going to adapt to what she brings in the evening. But, if she hasn't evolved, then it just, that for me, it saddens me in a sense, because as MMA athletes, we're always trying to be better and make sure that we have more, to display on the evening. And if she's just going to keep doing the same thing, then it's very predictable. So obviously I don't like to jinx MMA because it's a sport that can bring you down to size very quickly. I'm going in there with my eyes wide open. I know she's got a heavy right hand, but as long as I do what I need to and stay away from it, I don't see that there's anything else that she can do.
What does it feel like coming up here with everyone from FFM? I mean, you've got Chad fighting on the undercard, you've got your teammate JP Bays fighting for the interim flyweight title. I mean, what is the vibe in Sunny Hill right now?
It's work, it's not only our fight, we've got the Martin Don on the next card and Dino, so it's a normal day in the FFM gym. We're constantly fighting, we all have big fights, we're all trying to assist each other and make sure that everyone is evolving and becoming better athletes. So obviously, I would say that the tension's a little bit high because JP and myself are fighting for the title for the first time, and for Rich, I think he tries to hide it quite a bit, but I'm sure he's quite nervous for us, and we're just trying to, like I said, trust the process, not be too controlling of what everyone's feeling, and just listen to our bodies, and like I said, we're always training, we never not.
I often see you at the fights with your friends and your family. I mean, how important is the support of them coming up to the fight? And who gets more nervous, your mum or your wife?
Having my family there and my team means the world to me. I definitely feel the energy in the crowd when I fight. I can't imagine fighting without them. My mom and my wife, two different individuals. Obviously, my mom's raised me never as a child. You never want your child to get injured or hurt, so I'm sure her nerves are, also skyrocketing at that moment. And then I think my wife carries more of the success kind of, like she wants me to do well, she wants me to win and be victorious in the night. So it's more that it's like there's nerves, obviously she doesn't want me to get hurt, but it's just more that I come out on top in the evening, and that's what rides. Once I've won, then the nerves are calm and we enjoy ourselves afterwards.
We'll talk about winning. Some would say you were already a winner when you overcame quite a serious illness in 2013. Surviving that pulmonary embolism, was that something that still drives you forward today?
It does, especially when I get asked the question, it makes me emotional every time. I think it's also something that I haven't processed. Obviously it was a couple of years ago, but I still can't believe that it was something that I did overcome. Being in ICU, those 10 days were rough, and I feel like I've been given a second chance, and that every time I fight, it's giving back to what the universe gave me, and just trusting that this is the path that I'm meant to be on, and that's why I overcame what I did, being sick.
Were you able to train on warfarin? Was it something that you did, or something that you did with the doctors, able to balance your prescription?
No, when I was diagnosed with pulmonary emboli, the pulmonologist on the day that helped me told me that it was hereditary, and this told me I'd never be able to fight again, and never mind fight, just train in general, because being on warfarin, as a lot of people know, it's a blood thinner. It's a very dangerous blood thinner. Like if you just bump your arm or bump your head, internal bleeding is quite drastic. A lot of people have died from that. So, especially being in weightlifting and training, it was too risky. So it took me out of training for a very, very long time. I hit quite a hard depression. After that I was very sad, because my whole life has revolved around training. I studied it, I'm a personal trainer, so it was very, very difficult. After 6 months of being on it, I decided to go for a second opinion, and I went to another pulmonologist, and I was cleared, and they said they could never find a test that ever told me that it was hereditary, so they don't know where I got my information from. And I just thank my lucky stars, and I could come off the warfarin, and that's what meant the world to me.
You're rightfully the poster girl for women's MMA in South Africa. Are you happy with the growth of the sport in the female leagues?
The sport, I would say, rocketed up until maybe June this year. Suddenly we're 8 girls in the division. Now you've seen the same number of girls in the division. Amanda's fought, I fought, Daniela's fought, and that's where it stops. So, I think that we need to bring more girls to the division. I think it's hit a bit of a standstill, or a plateau. I've fought 2 of the top girls in the division already, and after I beat Amanda, I don't know who I would possibly fight. So I think that we definitely need to up the growth rate in South Africa, and I hope that females watching me fight, that I inspire them on a daily basis, and hopefully we'll create growth and have more locals in the EFC than there are internationals.
I see you're already giving back to the community. I see you do the women's BJJ classes and the women's Muay Thai classes at Fight Fit Militia. Is that a solution, is by giving back to the community and actually teaching women more MMA in the community?
Yeah, it's more about empowering women. Being a mixed martial artist, I understand how empowering it is to have certain disciplines behind you, and you don't have to be dependent and reliant on a stronger individual. So the fact that I can give women a tool or something that they can fall back on means more to me. There's a lot of women that are sexually abused and raped or are victims of abuse, and if I can assist any woman in any way to overcome that and could save their life possibly, then that makes me happy as a trainer. So yeah, if I can give back, then that's all that I want to achieve.
If I had to ask you what your perfect career path would be after you win this title, what would you say?
Well, perfect career path, win the title, defend the belt. I'm hoping to go overseas. That's obviously long-term goals, as I feel that I would like to travel as well, and there's more to traveling and fighting outside of the UFC. So for me, being able to travel with my teammates and be tested on with more international opponents would make me a better athlete, and that's what we're striving for. We're all striving to become better mixed martial artists. So if I can do that, then I'm only one step closer to becoming better in myself and evolving as a human as well. So yeah, win the belt, defend the title, go overseas, retire, have a happy family, and have my own gym. And I think I'll always be in coaching in some way. I don't think that I'll ever lead MMA once I've retired fighting. I would like to always be able to coach, and maybe I'll be a coach of certain individuals or athletes and be cornering other individuals one day.
Perfect. Hannah Power, thanks for talking to us. Really appreciate it, and good luck on your fight in October.
Thank you so much, Simon. Thanks for having me.
I'm here with Amanda Lino. She's up for the first women's title fight against Shana Power here at Sun City in the Pilanesburg. Amanda, it's a great fight, probably the biggest fight of your career. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really, really good, in really good shape, so I'm really excited to be here at Sun City for the first time as well. I can't wait.
What would it mean to you to be the first women's champ in MMA in African history?
I think it'll be a huge privilege. The years that I've put in the hard work, it will pay off, and I'm just really, really excited, and I'm hoping that on the night I come out the winner and really can prove that all my hard training and everything I've put into it, and it will just come out on top.
So what was the reason for the change in camp? You're training up in Belito. Was it in response to this title fight?
You obviously come to a stage in your life and taking nothing away from Belito Bulldogs and my coach last year. They took me through 2 world champs. I did really, really well from there. I think there just comes a time where you need to push through and surround yourself with professional fighters, and unfortunately I wasn't surrounded with professional fighters. Dallas Jacoby are really good friends with Gar, and he took me under his wing, so it made sense. It was the right move. We still have a really good relationship. I chat to them on a day-to-day basis, so we're on good terms. I just needed to be surrounded by other fighters, and the guys that I'm surrounded with at the moment are phenomenal. I'm putting information from all kinds of people, so it's really upping my skill and my mentality as a fighter.
So what would it mean to you to bring the first Durbanite to bring the belt back to the East Coast since Dallas?
You don't even have words for that. I think that'll be phenomenal. I think it'll be a great feeling. Like I said, there's really nothing you can say that until it happens on the night and I have that actual feeling. But it would be great to bring back that belt to Durban. I think Durban definitely needs it. The support we have in Durban is phenomenal. I mean, you've seen it. EFC's been down at ICC in Durban. It's been crazy. The Durban fans are phenomenal. They've backed me 110%. So I'd like to give back to them and bring the belt up.
Durban was very instrumental in the beginning of the sport in this country. It was the best place to train back in the day. What is the state of MMA in KZN at the moment?
No, definitely. I mean, you've got the likes of Dallas Jacoby, you've got Donovan Cookie as well. The legends. And I definitely think there's there's fighters still in Durban that are doing phenomenal things. I think, we may be in the shadows of it, but, also, my not really my teammate, but an 031 guy that's coming up, Alden Mosey, he's going to be fighting for the flyweight interim title. So, there's definitely some great fighters in Durban. So I think Durban, itself is doing really, really well. And I think come the 15th of October, we're going to prove that, Durban's back and we're going to make some name.
How do you feel about the state of health of women's MMA in South Africa in general?
MMA in South Africa is really, really small. I think the EFC have done a great thing by bringing internationals over so that we can get some experience. We've got some really good fighters coming from amateur leagues now. I think the fact that EFC opened up a women's division, it really has given the women, some inspiration to get into MMA. You can see yourself building a career, whereas before it was more of a hobby, so no one really took it too seriously. I think the girls or the women in South Africa are really taking it really serious at the moment and looking to further careers in MMA. So I think you're going to see some great stuff coming out in MMA in South Africa, and I think EFC have a big part to play in that.
Have you ever encountered any kind of prejudice as a female MMA athlete?
Yeah, look, I think you're always going to get it. There's always going to be those negative, what we like to call keyboard warriors. Even with the men, you're going to get it. But I think, I really do think that people love to see two chicks in a cage, throwing down really hard. So, you're always going to get those negative people, but I've learned to push that aside and not really take it on too seriously. You've got to always roll with the positive and believe in yourself and believe in the sport that you're in. And I've got such a passion for MMA, so, I just go with the positive and, I think really people have started to change their minds and, opening up the women's division in the EFC have really, broadened people's perspective, of, women's MMA. So I think MMA in Africa, or women's MMA is doing really, really well, and I think you're going to see some huge improvements in the future.
What would you say to young women who think about going into the sport but are kind of conformed to what mainstream media expect of what notions of femininity are?
I say stop thinking and do it. If you've got a passion for it, follow it. Don't hold yourself back. If that's something you really want to do, go for it. Life's short. If you love something, do it. And you also don't have a long time MMA. Your career can be cut short, so take the chances while you have. And I think right now, women's MMA is really starting to kick off. So those of you that's sitting at home thinking about it, really get off your chair, start training, put the hours in, and you'd be surprised how far you can. I never thought starting out in MMA for fitness and just to get some aggression going and release that stress that I'd be where I'm standing today. And I've been really lucky for the opportunity. So those of you sitting at home, you'll have the same opportunities with women's MMA.
You're fighting a great opponent, also a very strong proponent of the women's MMA, who's done a lot to promote the sport here. What do you make of Shana as an athlete?
Yeah, look, I think she's a good fighter. She's undefeated. She does have weaknesses in her game. But I'm not going to take anything away from her. I think it's going to be a phenomenal fight. I'm really excited. You always want to test yourself against good fighters. I'm really, really looking to put on a good show for the fans, and I really do think that's what's going to happen on the night. Come the 15th of October, Sun City's going to see two chicks really throw down, and it's going to be a phenomenal fight.
Your only professional loss was against Isabelle Perret, the French girl, last year. What did you learn from that fight?
Sure, I can't even pinpoint to one thing. There's so much that you learn from a loss, and it's not really a loss. You're always learning, and you gain so much more from a loss, really. So it was a changing point in my career. I think it mentally it changed the way I look at training. It's changed the way I looked at quite a lot of things within my lifestyle. So I'm actually glad it happened. I think it was the best thing for me. I think it's really pushed me to another level, which I'm excited to show that that skill set, that mentality that I've gained from that. I would love to go back and get my revenge there, but that's how it will come. Right now I'm going to focus on my title and bring that belt home to me.
With Clearance, chatting all things MMA.